welcome to WeighPay. In this video, we're going to take a look at our WeighPay Enterprise application. This is our web app, so it works on any device, anywhere, any browser, any phone or tablet. So one of the first things that we're going to do is we're just kind of looking at obviously a analytics board, but we are going to drop into our touchscreen mode, which allows us to drill into our accounts. If you're an account manager, financials, if you're on the financial team, contracts, if you're on the contract team, you can get in, look at purchase contracts, sales contracts, hauler contracts, etc. And so if you're on the logistics team, then of course you might only see the logistics button. You might be able to create active work orders, look at your container inventory, schedule your docks or terminals, schedule your internal drivers on loads, inbound, outbound loads. Same with your third-party haulers. And so it's a complete all-in-one solution. And so you're going to appreciate the deep dive into the inventory in one of our other videos. But in this video, we just wanted to focus on the ability to create a ticket. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a business ticket. I'm going to start an inbound transaction. So this would be your typical scrap metal transaction. Now, one of the things that we can do is we can go in here and just select from one of our purchase orders or a purchase contract, and then you're going to notice that it has an address, and we typically can either have a straight or a mixed load determination of whether or not there's going to be some additional sorting if it's a mixed load. So first thing we're going to do is open up our transaction. From here, there's quite a bit of information you can do. If you were at the scale station, you might go here and you might start with a in-yard ID. You might say we've got a blue truck, let's say, or you might say it's truck number 4545, or put a plate number. But this gives us an idea of how to identify this truck, container, the equipment size, if we're running on equipment size, equipment type, if we want to say, yep, here comes a flatbed or a roll. So you can kind of take a look at the different kinds of trucks that might be coming to help you identify this later on in the ticketing process. If we go back to ticket items, you're going to notice that, of course, we could go ahead and open the line item, which means we want to put in some weights. And so this may be something that we can go in here. Now we're just going to confirm our address and that we're on contract 105. And you can see here that we're bringing in number 2 copper. And we can just basically start with a truck weight. And then at this point, we could send the truck into the yard. We would save the ticket. So in this scenario, the business use case I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead and assume the truck dropped off its load, assume the truck returned, and it was a smaller truck, so it only had 15,000 pounds. You can see we have a converted net weight of 10,000 pounds. We're going to hit the save button. So at this point, we can say that we're finished editing and we're just going to finish that. So let's say the truck came in, truck dropped off its load, and now the truck is leaving. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put that into our inventory with a cost. And so we're going to go ahead and save ticket 7004. Now this transaction has been saved, and let's just assume that at a later date and time or a later date, that you're going to have an inspector come by that wants to inspect this load. And so we're going to hit the adjust button. Now, WeighPay employs a parent-child ticket. So while this is ticket number 7004, we're going to hit the adjust button, and now we're going to create an adjustment. So the original parent ticket is not going to be edited. Therefore, we don't have to worry about backdating or recosting our inventory. So it's the proper way to do it. So if I was going to open up this ticket, and let's just assume that during our inspection, and we have a couple different methodologies for inspection. We can go here, and you can make it a reason for the adjustment, such as, let's say, non-metallics waste was put in there. Let's assume that we're going to do an absolute or percentage. We're going to say, yeah, there was we assume 10% of it was waste. So the ability that 10,000 has now become 9,000 in our converted adjusted net weight. And you can have 3 different types of adjustments that we've allowed for, in which case if there was a secondary deduction for a container or different weights, tires, or whatever it might have been in this load that shouldn't have been in this load, we can capture that. Now, we do have the ability to capture additional data as an inspector. So as an inspector, I might want to capture something to do with material quality, maybe where it came from, maybe there's different information that might get into a purchase order, a trucking ticket number, cost client center. So there's all of these are customer configured data fields that allow you to put in your own custom fields. Now we can ask for an image if we want to go ahead and take an image. Let me switch to the correct camera. Let me just snap a photo and upload it. So this could be whether it's your gross image, an image of your inspection, if you were taking an image, so you can see general image if I'm just taking an inspection. So this could be my gross inbound, my tear outbound, and then of course I can add as many different images as I want to in the system. So at this point, we're just going to go ahead and save this, and this is going to generate a child AR. So we are on 7004.1. So if I did a second adjustment, it would be 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, etc. So from here, you can see we're going to create an AR down at the bottom right of our screen. We're going to create an AR because we have an adjustment that we need to make against that original parent transaction. So the first transaction was an accounts payable because we owe the supplier for the inbound material. And in which case, at this point, we've now made our adjustment. So with that adjustment made, that gives us the ability to go in. Now, we could have also added a supplier score. And the supplier score allows us to always keep track for this supplier, 2 stars, 3 stars, arrived on time, packing quality. So the ability for us to actually score our loads gives us the ability to kind of track that. We'll go kind of into that at a different video. But we could have tracked a hauler if there was a freight rate required, add a container, if this was kind of a load going out to a processor and coming back in, if there was, let's say, freight surcharges and other charges, processor fees, stuff like that, we can get into that. But at this point, we've created our ticket. Now, I do like to kind of complete the cycle. So let's go look at our bills. So you can see that 704 had a accounts payable for 40,000. And then our adjustment ticket had an AR of 4,000. So we can simply just click on the name or click anywhere on this field. It's going to auto net. Now, in this auto net, I'm just going to pay that transaction and its child transaction. So there's a $36,000 payment that is due. And you can see here we can inspect the bills that are associated with this payout. We can then hit the button and we can decide what kind of payout do we want. Do we want to do cash, card, credit, ACH, whatever. But in this case, we're just going to do this here. And because we could print a check if we wanted to open that up. And at this point, I'm just going to hit the update button, and this will then fire off that electronic payment. So at this point, we would return back to our home screen. Of course, we could start another transaction. We could go into other parts of the system. But that's really what I wanted to show you is the parent-child transaction and show you how the system delivers price to the scale in real time. Keep in mind that WeighPay does employ a Windows installer that can store its own data, thereby giving you 100% uptime. Remember, WeighPay, so advanced, it's simple.